And at least this guy had 118 subscribers, so they're getting better. But he came out with a load of guff that I think needs to be hit on the head. So here's what needs to be hit on the head. Jesus mostly spoke to Jews. So a lot of the stuff in the New Testament is aimed at the Jewish culture, not at the future culture of both Jews and Gentiles. Jesus appointed 12 people to look after the church. And then after that, as the church grew, hundreds and thousands of people to look after the church. But he said there was a basic concept. They had to have the Holy Spirit and they had to know the gospel. But there was a starting point, and that was that you were saved and that you were born again and you were a new creature. Now, my belief is that the New Testament came into being when Jesus said at communion, "This is the New Testament of my blood." So he was claiming the New Testament. And I believe that's when it started. The cross brings both Jews and Gentiles together. Now, there's the other thing, that what Jesus spoke about was mostly to Jewish people. That I totally agree with, he was. But when the church started to happen, a lot of other concepts were brought into that. Now, along the way, the church got trapped into Platonism, and that had to disappear, that has to go. But there are other concepts that were used within the church and were developed that were not Jewish. And a lot of the original ideas in the church as well that were from the Greek culture were forgotten because the language was forgotten. Words like remittance, words like intercession, all these words, intermediary, all these words were forgotten, and so new concepts were put on them. As for ego, the worship of self, saying it's all about me and what I think and what I do, and if you don't believe this, you're immature. By the way, anybody who ever tells you you're immature is A, bigoted, 2, trying to keep you in your place. Now, unless somebody asks me, I will never call anybody immature. But if you're in my fellowship, or you're in a church, or you're in a place of belief, and you need to come on, then you're immature in certain areas of faith. You have to admit that. There are certain areas of faith I'm immature in. There are other areas I'm not so immature in. I'm growing in faith and developing in those. But be careful of who you listen to. Not the numpties like my friend David, who thought he'd say something, but people who are decent Christian people who can lead you and properly give you the truth. Now, I'm not saying everybody believes the same thing, but if they believe you're born again and saved, they believe in the gospel, they believe in the things that Paul wrote about and the letters, no matter how we differ, then that's a good starting point. And if you're born again and saved, you're my brother and sister. Mature or immature, matters not. So don't let the numpties grind you down. And David, I've taken you off. I've hidden you from my channel because you're yet another. Anyway, God bless you, and I'll see you on the flip side.